Good morning, everybody. Let's have a look at the charts. We'll just start with the Dixie very briefly, as the Dixie seems to be getting some kind of rejection now, which is fine. And this probably is not the rejection that's going to take us too deep. I just don't think that is the case. It doesn't look overheated. It has done a death cross retest though, so it's not set in stone that we can't come all the way back down to where we came from, basically 100 straight, but. With the Bollinger Band stretching up like this now, we're forming an ascending triangle, which is normally more bullish than bearish. So it's a battle between the supports, which is this down here, which is 102.5, and the resistance, which is 103.7. So this is where we're going to be living for the moment. Which way is going to break? Couldn't tell you. Not quite yet. It's a bit of a sharp projection, but it was also a significant pump from a golden cross. So it is 50-50. We're range bound for the Dixie. Probably some kind of news will help decide the direction. But until then, it's an ascending triangle, which does give a little bit more likelihood that it will break out and up than down. So that's the Dixie scenario. But for this very moment in time, it looks like it wants to come down a bit. So that will offer a bit more upside across the board for everybody. You know, whether it's Bitcoin, altcoins, gold, oil, stocks, they should all benefit, at least until we find a support on the Dixie. So, thinking about Bitcoin, so we had that, we are finding a bit of a bounce at this very moment in time, based on the daily. If we have a look at this, seemed to have floated around the 38,650. So it didn't hit 38,000 flat, sort of like just for some reason, this is where it decided to come up from. Now, on the live stream last night, I said that actually, surprisingly, I think that Bitcoin is less the driver of the support and it's more Ethereum. You might think that that's madness, but I don't. And look at the volume on Binance. So we've got 1.49 billion on Ethereum's 24-hour trading volume, opposed to 2.4 billion. So obviously Bitcoin is more, but Ethereum is significant. This is not nothing, this is a lot. And look, this is still technically an uptrend, as is Bitcoin. Is still technically an uptrend. I'm not saying that we're expecting uptrends to begin or continue, but it's not effectively fully broken down, not like a lot of altcoins are doing anyway. And the support, if there was anywhere, was more obvious given Ethereum, which basically came down to the major support zone, which is it was front run just by a little bit, by a few dollars really, by about $18. The horizontal support, which again, even itself is a bit of it's a bit of wiggle room as to exactly where this is. So major support obviously happened over here, big bounce. Major rejection happened over here, big pullback. And the breakout was retested several times before going on to make the local high. So this is the area, and seems to be where crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum and everybody else found its bounce. So I think Ethereum is driving the market at the moment, or should I say dictating where the market will bounce from. So it's kind of interesting setup really. Now that doesn't mean that Bitcoin is irrelevant. Bitcoin is highly relevant obviously, and if Bitcoin continues to break down, everybody else will continue to break down. All it takes is for us to lose these supports and then the whole thing starts really coming down quite dramatically. We might even see a full-on retrace back down to 1500 and maybe beyond. So it's absolutely likely. And my overall view on crypto hasn't changed at all. Whatever happens between now and the summer is literally just a matter of taking some opportunities if they are appropriate. But generally speaking, I think what we're doing and what we're seeing now is a consolidation in the making. And as much as we've come down, we will likely see a bit of a bounce. Maybe for Ethereum up to 2,400. Maybe for Bitcoin, maybe up towards 43,000. That's basically it. We might see the 44,000, which is again, major horizontal, but without drawing lines all over the chart everywhere. This might be the range that we're in. So we'll stick that in there. In fact, I'll tell you what we'll do, just to make it a bit more exciting. We'll draw a box. I think this is where we live for a little while, until the halving, which is some point in April. We're going to live within the box. This is our box range, and this is where we will live, which is not all that bad from the bottom to the top. That's a 16% range. Okay, fair enough. That's kind of cool in a way, because if this does hold between now and April, which it might do, a bot could be an appropriate way to handle and deal with that. I set a bot up about 36 hours ago on Bitcoin with more or less this kind of range, a little bit lower, and actually not quite as high as this. My bot will automatically close at 42,000, which I'm happy with. But yeah, this would be a bot range because that's the best we can hope for. Is sideways, really. I don't see any reason why we should be making new local highs. Just don't see that. But bounces along the way, up to the top, back down to the bottom. That's a bot range. So, I mean, more or less that is the deal. Death Cross retest will take us to 42,378 today on the 4-hourly. That's an appropriate place to expect a rejection. The daily is offering 43,000 on the Bollinger Band itself. That's fine. We don't have any short signals yet, not quite yet. But over time, I think what we'll do is we'll see ourselves break down from here, probably before the summer, and we'll incrementally start to take out supports and live within different ranges. And these ranges, again, you could play them through bots if you wanted to. You could dollar cost average into them if you wanted to as well. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. On the last bear market, I did dollar cost average all the way down, so selling around the mid 50s. The first entry point that I actually had on the way down was 40,000, and then down and down and down. So there's really nothing wrong with that, because up until recently, all of those dollar cost averages that I did throughout the bear market were in profit. So it's your time horizon, is appropriate. Michael Saylor will talk to you about that all day. He loves to buy the top. That's his deal. So yeah, what I'm saying though generally is my plan hasn't changed. I am expecting lower prices over time. And I'm not looking to stick tons of cash into crypto at this very moment. No way. You can play small bounces. You can trade altcoins even. Because I think that it's Ethereum that's allowing for the market to bounce this time. And if that is the case, I would imagine what we'll be seeing is the dominance chart going down at some point as a result of what we see. So yeah, it's moving up at the moment. We'll probably see it move back down again. So I'm on the sidelines. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm on the fence with what's going to happen on a day-to-day, really. Until a trend is established, which I think it's basically about to establish a lower high, then what we should really think about is ranges and ways to play those ranges if you want to play at all. Remember, I am at this point now 90% in cash, have been more or less since over here. I've deployed 5% into a bot and a couple of spot buys the other day, and that is it. There's really nothing wrong with that. I'll be playing small little bounces with small portions of my portfolio balance, which is primarily cash right now, and I am going to deploy heavily later on. And it's probably going to take a while, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Cash is a trade in itself. So until further notice, this is going to be our range, and then we will break down, and then I expect this to be our range. Whether we scrape a low out around these levels is a different story, but this is our first range, and later on this will be our next range. And maybe then this will be our range, and then we will scrape our low, and we'll make our way back up for the more exciting portion of the crypto bull market, getting ready for the actual bull run rather than the bull market, which in all fairness has been a pretty decent bull market. Right, there's basically nothing more to say. You can carry on the rest of your day. There is really nothing more to say about it than that. Ethereum being the dominant force in this bounce that we're seeing right now, but the range being established by Bitcoin. And probably see a little bit more upside between now and Friday, I would reckon. And Dixie obviously behind it all, being the secret driving force, or giving the green light to everybody to have a little move up today. Right, thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Otherwise, just have a nice day, and I'll take it easy.